Someone asked me recently, Deacon Pat, why do you write books? And I paused, because the truth is, I don't write books to become an author. I write books because I can't not write them. Welcome to the Catholic Journey. This is Deacon Pat, your host. You see, writing for me is not a profession. It's not even a hobby. It's a response. A response to what God has done. A response to what I've seen. A response to what I know people are silently carrying. Because after years as a psychiatric nurse, after walking with people through darkness, addiction, brokenness, after serving as a deacon, a husband, a father, I realized something. People are hungry. Hungry for the truth. Hungry for hope. Hungry for something real. And too often, they don't find it. So I write. But over time, something deeper began to happen. I quickly found that when I started writing about things that occurred in my own life, real struggles, real encounters, real moments of grace, and then allowed my imagination to step in, not to escape reality, but to elevate it, something changed. Through prayer, through reflection, through dreaming about what life could look like with deeper faith, I began to see differently. Almost as if, for a moment, I could see the bigger picture. Not just how I see things, but how God might see them. And that changes everything. Because suddenly, pain has purpose, struggle has meaning, and even the darkest moments are not without light. And somewhere along the way, I realized something that surprised even me. Writing, for me, became prayer. Not just words on a page, but an encounter. When I write, I begin to see the world, myself, and the people around me in a way that is deeper, more honest, more spiritual than I could ever imagine otherwise. It's in the writing that God slows me down enough to actually see. The mission behind the books. If you look at my books, they might seem all over the place at first. Catholic adventure novels, spiritual workbooks, 40-day devotionals, and even children's books. But they are not random. They're intentional. Because different souls need different doorways to God. The novels, reaching the heart through story. Some people won't pick up a theology book, but they'll read a story. So I write novels. But they're not just stories. They're reflections of real life, seen through the lens of faith and shaped by the question, what could this look like if we truly trusted God? Because story bypasses defenses. It slips past the intellect and lands right center in the heart. And once that heart is open, God can move. The workbooks, forming the soul. Then there are those who are ready to grow, but don't know how. They don't need inspiration, they need direction. That's where the workbooks come in, structured, intentional, challenging. Because faith is not just something we feel, it's something we live. And sometimes we need a roadmap. The devotionals, walking daily with God. And then there are the tired souls, the overwhelmed, the ones who don't need a long explanation. They just need today. So I write devotionals. Simple, daily, faithful steps. Because sometimes the holiest thing you can do is just take the next step. And the children's books, planting seeds early. And yes, even children's books. Because if we wait until adulthood, we're too late. The world is already forming them. We need to form them earlier. With trust, with goodness, with stories that shape their hearts before the world distorts them. So now let's turn to the real answer. So why do I write books? Because I've seen too much not to. I've seen what happens when people live without God, and I've seen what happens when they encounter Him. Everything changes. And maybe the deepest truth is this. I don't just write for others. I write because it draws me closer to God. Because in writing, I listen. In writing, I reflect. In writing, I pray, and in that space, God speaks. So maybe today, this isn't really about why I write books. Maybe it's about you. What if God is asking you to do something? What is stirring in your heart that you keep pushing aside? Because God is calling you too, to create, to build, to speak, to love, to bring light into a world that desperately needs it. If my books do anything, I hope they help you to see that your story does matter, and more importantly, that God is already writing it. Someone asked me why I write books. Now you know. This is the Catholic Journey with Deacon Pat. And remember, God is not finished with you yet. Thanks again for listening. Have a beautiful day, and let God's grace touch your heart and your soul.